Love your yard with a new outdoor space from F&B Landscaping. From a new build to a new project in an existing yard, we listen and give you the yard you want within your budget. Lawns, water features, xeriscaping. We've got the artistic touch and technical know-how to bring the peak of Colorado outdoor living to your home. Reliable, trustworthy. Visit fblandscapes.com to schedule a free consultation today. Welcome to the weekend crew. It is going to be a hot one. We know that. That's how our Friday kind of was during the afternoon. Everybody getting a little bit warmer than what we had certainly earlier in the week for sure. The evenings will be nice here. I think mornings are going to be beautiful as well. In fact, speaking of Saturday morning, we'll end up in the 50s and 60s, so getting a little bit warmer here than we've been the last couple of mornings in the Pikes Peak region. I think we'll notice more clouds around on Saturday, maybe some virga as well. It's going to be hot. We might even hit 100 on the south end of El Paso County, well into the 80s for most of us in Teller County. A couple breezes in the afternoon and a little bit of virga. That could produce some gusty wind that drops the temperatures 10 or 15 degrees, maybe 20 degrees in the afternoon, depending where you are. If you catch a sprinkle, or certainly anything more than a sprinkle, consider yourself lucky. We'll be in the 40s for the mountain valley areas as the air's still pretty dry, but with the heating up of the air mass here, certainly a warmer start to the mornings east of the mountains than kind of how we were Wednesday into Thursday when we had some temps in the 50s. And a nice swing into the afternoon because the air's so dry above 100. Once you get east of Bighorn Canyon, lots of 90s along the Arkansas River, 80s and 90s otherwise, dependent on elevation, of course. On either side of 50 in the San Luis Valley. So as a generality, a little bit warmer than what we'll have in the Gunnison Valley. Mid-50s for a lot of us in the Wet Mountain Valley, and then 60s more common as you head down the eastern slopes of the Rockies. That's where temperatures will be in the 90s during the afternoon on Saturday. And again, more clouds around, maybe a little bit of gusty wind with some virga as we head through the afternoon. There's a bit more moisture coming through in the mid-levels of the atmosphere on Saturday. And at least that will try to provide some shade. I think we'll welcome that because we're going to be between 102 and 106 for a lot of us along and south of the Arkansas River, out near the Kansas line. Over the Palmer Divide, we're in the 50s and 60s to start off our weekend, and then we hit the afternoon here. We'll welcome clouds as well as we're in the 90s to around 100. There's, like I said, a little bit more moisture coming in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and there'll probably be some virga around tomorrow with a little wave moving through, but a lot of this isn't going to make it down to the ground. So you'll see kind of sheets of rain that, are hanging from the clouds. Look like somebody took a paintbrush and went to the base of the clouds. What that does is rain falls into the drier subcloud layer. It evaporates. That's a cooling process. So you get this dense air because of gravity rushes down to the ground, kind of spreads out in all directions. And here's why I'm not expecting much rain. As we hit our high temperatures in the afternoon, our humidity levels single digits, low teens. If our wind was stronger, we'd have some serious fire weather concerns. Not that, fire danger's up, but at least the wind won't be moving around a ton on a large scale. Like I said, with some of that virga, there will be a little bit of gusty wind to watch in the afternoon, so we'll keep an eye on that. And even as we get some of that virga, we're not picking up on huge increases in humidity. Still toasty Sunday. In fact, it's probably the hottest day for some of us out across the eastern plains. Saturday may be the hottest day in Colorado Springs. Something we'll keep an eye on here. Still toasty. A little bit more in the way of cloud cover over the mountain areas, so we lose a degree or two. This is the beginning of the monsoon starting to reestablish. It's a multi-day process, but a better chance of a storm over the mountains on Sunday and a storm that could produce some rain. Still not a lot of them, still not all that impressive, but we're grasping at straws, crew. However, as we head into Monday and Tuesday, the mountains get more likely to get some storms, and the rest of the week, everybody else gets in on it. In fact, there's a pretty good stretch here heading through next week. Got that in your extended forecast. You're on Peaks to Plains Weather, our weather together.